Nick? All right. You asked for it. So those are I found that there about 10 questions here. And you'll see them in the slide in a few minutes. And some of those questions, the sentence and the way you ask, I don't know, it might be the right answer for you or not. You judge, just let's look at those questions. So question number one. So what does it mean when you don't give offering or tithe? So that was number one question. It's not here yet, okay? So what does it mean when you don't give offering or tithe? So I believe this person, the person that asked, is a believer. And giving, a lot of people, in our background or our, the way we grew up, people taught us, how to give at the church, right? Even from the kids when we were young, the parents give money, to give offering. So when I was young, I, went to the church, and my parents always said, don't buy candy on the way. That's for the offering. So that's how we grew up. And, here giving, you're going to see that in the way people give in the Old Testament, the way people give in the New Testament. And whenever people give, in the Old or in the New, it's the same purpose, the same, idea involved in that. So, but there is a time frame, the time that changes, the way people, give. When in the Old Testament, when the Israelites give, there was a requirement. Sometimes it was a requirement, but most of the time, it is not a requirement. So if you're a believer and you said, I don't give, I don't have money, or I don't want to give, is that, derail you from, being a believer? Of course not. But here, let's read this verse, 2 Corinthians chapter 9. The point is this. This is what the scripture says. The point is this. Whoever sows sparingly will also reap sparingly. And whoever sows bountifully will also reap bountifully. So it's just give us with, this example of, spreading the seeds, right? So by looking at, like when you sow something, if you just, spread the seed a handful, you only reap a handful of those, right? But if you sow like with a basket, then you will get, about that much. So giving, by doing that, God said, you test me and you do that, I'm going to, bless you. So by giving, we see, that, the goodness, the blessing of God. So here, it's continued. It said, each one must give as he had decided in his heart. All right? Not reluctantly or under compulsion. For God loves a cheer giver. So when you give, there's no pressure, no involved. Keep reading here. And God is able to make all grace abound to you, so that having all sufficiency in all things at all times, you may abound in every good work. See, God doesn't want your money, right? God owns everything. God created everything. The only thing He would like to do is, He would like to bless you. And you show that my grace are sufficient. God, grace are sufficient to me. So in turn, you show your love to others, by giving, right? Giving is better than receiving. So that's why we give. We just sang a lot of songs here, right? The grace, it was grace that set us free. So if you have that, you have to show that with our outward appearance as well, right? By giving. You said that I'm a believer and I'm, set free. And then are you still buying with that, money? So when you give, yes, if you're a believer, it is good to give. But don't give, because you have to, maybe God is going to bring a thunder or something kind of, judgment upon you. No, he won't do that. But give it freely from your heart. So I believe that's what the person would like to know. I'm not really sure, but, that's what, I can come up with. Question number 2. I know there is God and what he doesn't want us to do, but I cannot committing sin against him. What does that mean? I was thinking that question seriously. I don't even know what he's asking. So, there is God, and he doesn't want us to do bad thing. I believe that. He is a God of holy God, and you shouldn't commit sin against him. But I just bring up these 2 verses. Maybe that person need to know something. Romans chapter 8. See, even like you are a believer, if you are born again a believer, you still have this, physical body, right? So you're going to still, capable of doing stupid things, all right? You are still capable of doing, terrible things in your life. That's how we have to understand. But if you, receive that grace, and if you, let's say you receive that grace and you still, Hebrews chapter 12. It is for discipline that you have to endure. God is treating you as a son, as sons. So sometimes you commit sin and you do sins against God. And if you are a true believer, if you are a sons and daughter of God, yes, he will bring what? Punishment to you. Because, why? Because of this verse. Hebrews chapter 12 said what? It is a discipline. For what son is there whom his father does not discipline? If you are left without discipline, in which all have participated, when you are illegitimate children and not sons. So God brings discipline because he loves you. And you are his sons and daughter of God. That's why if you're a true believer, God will do that. And if you sin against him, he'll bring the discipline to you. Right? So that's what you have to understand. You will sin against God in your lifetime, even if you're a believer, but you are not condemned to, go to hell. You are set free. But if God's love you, he'll bring back to you on the right path. So he'll bring the discipline. Right? He'll bring the discipline to do that. So at that time you have to, you have to go through suffering and stuff like that. But you will know that, So that's question number 2. Question 3. I love that. Why do parents fight? Because they love each other. Right? So parents do fight, because parents are also what? Human being, right? Your parents, your dad, your mom, they all are human beings. And they are crazy like you. And, most of the time, they have a lot of pressure. Most of the time, they have a lot of things to do, So if the pressure build up, then they start fighting each other. But the Bible tells us to love your wife, to submit. Yeah, they might even they know that they still fight. So I in Burmese language, it's your tongue and your teeth. Sometimes what? You bite your tongue, right? Even though they're very close to each other, it still happens. So don't think that, parents should not fight. Parents do fight. And sometimes it's for a good reason. All right, number 3 is, but it's, the best thing is, to be a good example, right, for parents to set a good example. But we are sinner. We fail many, many times. And I love this question. Question number 4. What is the meaning of salvation? So what is the meaning of salvation? A lot of people, in this church, have to know this, right? Salvation, salvation means, like, why we need salvation? Because we are destined to go to hell, right? Because of, the wages of sin is death, and if you die, you go into hell. So because you are, condemned to go to hell, so that's why somebody need to save you. So that's what Jesus did. He come and do that, exactly that the Father told him to do. So salvation, yes, because why? We are in danger. We are in trouble. So nobody can save us. God has to come and save us. So when, this is what you have to understand here. Acts chapter 4. And there is salvation in no one else. So that's very important. Okay? You cannot find anything, from other people. There is salvation in no one else. For there is no other name under heaven given among men by which we must be saved. So that's why we know that only Jesus can save us. He's the only can save us, completely, perfectly. But here, Romans chapter 8, when Jesus did his job, that's including me and you here, if you're a true believer, if you're a born-again believer, currently we are saved, and we call that, we are what? We are saved. We are a born-again believer. What? You are saved of what? In what part of you were saved? Right? Your soul, right? Your soul was saved. See, God has to save your soul first. See, when you are alive, He has to do that. So that's what is said, Romans chapter 8. But if Christ is in you, although the body is dead, you understand that our body will die one day, right? Because of sin. But what happened? The Spirit is life because of righteousness. That is Jesus. That is right now, currently, salvation involves 2 parts. Right now, we are spiritually, our soul is saved. But let's go to the next verse, chapter 8, Romans chapter 8, verse 23. Not only our spirit is saved, but also our body will be saved in the future. So there's a future things, a future hope. So when people talk about, when the Bible talk about salvation, that's me. Yes, you are saved not only your spirit, but your body will save in the future as well. But it's not happening yet. Right? This is what is said, Romans chapter 8, verse 23. And not only the creation, but we ourselves, who have the first fruit of the Spirit, groan inwardly as we wait eagerly for adoption as sons, the redemption of our bodies. See, our body need to be redeemed as well, right? So right now, that's why Christian has to suffer. Christian has to go through this groaning period. And not only us, the creation is groaning. And then one day we hope for that. Oh, God is going to bring us to His Father's, Jesus is going to bring us to His Father's house. So that time our body will be what? Transformed. That's mean is coming to redeem of our bodies. For in this hope, we are what? Saved. See, that's what the Bible said. For in this hope, we are saved. So salvation, when you talk about what does salvation mean, that's involved 2 things, right? Save your spirit is saved. In the future, your body will be saved. Okay, question number 5. How do we talk to people who used to be a believer? So that person might, thinking about the backsliding, Christian or something like that. And, sometimes we have to understand. That's why I put John chapter 10 here. All right, John chapter 10. This is what I said, verse 3. To him the gatekeeper opened. The sheep hear his voice, and he calls his own sheep by name and leads them out. When he He has brought out all his own. He goes before them. And the sheep follow him, for they know his voice. A stranger they will not follow, but they will flee from him, for they do not know the voice of strangers. So this is what I'm going to tell you. If that person is a true believer, how do you talk to him? To tell him what? Do you hear the voice of Jesus? If he is a true believer, he will hear whose voice? Jesus' voice, right? Jesus said, my sheep know my voice. So even though they are backsliding, they'll come back. So now you talk to him that if that is a true believer, you challenge him. You talk to him. What's wrong with you? Don't you understand this and that? So a believer ourselves, we have to sometimes, those kind of people, we have to do what? Challenge him, and, we have to rebuke that person in the name of Jesus and tell him the truth. So if he is a true believer, he's going to hear what? The voice of Jesus through you. And then he'll come back to, the right path. So that's what we need to do. That's what we need each other, So if you talk to the people who used to be a believer, that is kind of like tough, but yes, there is always hope involved in that. Question 6. When you pray, do you need to have feeling? So that's, I believe this person is asking about, of course, we are emotional beings. We do have what? Feeling, right? But when you pray, this person might believe that some people pray, all the time they pray, they have to cry, they have to, some kind of emotion has to show that. Only then that person believes that, this kind of true, he is really deep into prayer. Might be true to him, but not true to all of us. Not all the time, right? Just a prayer. A prayer means what? You talk to God, right? You talk to God. So, do you guys talk to each other, right? Do you guys, the husband and wife, always talk to each other? Yes, right? When we talk, do we have to cry all the time to, talk to one another? No. Right? We just talk. Sometimes we talk normally. Sometimes we raise our voice. Sometimes, we express our emotion. It depends on your situation. Right? So, yes, sometimes you might be doing a quick prayer. Or maybe you can, you would like to, unfold everything from your heart to God. And that time you will see emotion and stuff like that. And that's absolutely fine. But remember this. Prayer, I taught you here before. Number one thing is, you have to remember about, the past. What does the Bible teach us? I went through this, not very long ago. The Old Testament saints did pray, and when they pray, what? They didn't use the name of Jesus at that time. They just talked to God. And we can go back and see that, their prayer will answer. And then, you have to remember, this is what God did for them. Just simply what? Talking to him. Right? And let's skip to number 2. And you have to know who Jesus is, who God is. Right? The person that you talk to is not someone, normal. He is what? God. So if he is God, there's respect involved in that, and also you adore him, you praise his name. So that's very important. You are Christ, the living God. That's what in Matthew 16 said. And let's skip to number 3. We don't have much time, so I have to skip very fast. But I went through all of this before. So you just when you pray these 5 things, you need to remember. That, you remember the story from the book of the Bible, the story in the Bible. and you know that the person that you're praying is a true God. Jesus is a true God, and you have faith. How much faith? God said that what? Even a little faith can do, right? So you have that faith. And let's skip to number 4. And if you have faith, you what? Believe on that and practice that. You do it, right? So sometimes people pray with emotion and they think everything will automatically happen. No, right? You pray and you believe, have faith, and then you do it. Unless you act, you act upon it, then God cannot do anything. So you do it. And number 5, when you pray, your hands, your heart, your lives, you should be clean as much as possible. Go back and ask forgiveness. So that's how a true prayer is. That's a true prayer. God, our prayer answer, our prayer answer because of that. Right? Not because you are emotional, you express too much feeling, and your life is a mess, and you're not doing what you said, and then your prayer will not be answered. So that's about prayer. That person asked. So I just answer that for you. Question number 7. So this is, if God chooses you for His kingdom, should you have your own career, or you should just serve the Lord as a pastor? Yeah, you should. Everybody should be a pastor, right? Now, this is what my answer is. I like this quote, and somebody gave me as a present to me, and then I love this quote. God doesn't call the qualified. He qualifies the call. All right? God doesn't call the qualified. He qualifies the call. So that is very meaningful, right? You thought, you must be something to do the ministry. No. God is the one decide to do this or to do that. Did I choose myself to become a pastor? Of course not. But God's call was final. He qualifies the call, right? So, yeah, you can serve God in many, many ways. You're not only the pastor, the pastor doesn't only serve God. Other people serve God as well. So it's depending on the call. If you hear the call, you respond it. It doesn't need to be, all the time. You should be the pastor or a minister or whatever, missionary or something like that. And God can use you wherever you are, right? At your workplace, whatever, at the school, everywhere. So God will qualify the call, and then you'll know at that time. Okay? Question number 8. How do I control my temper when I fight with my sibling? Yeah. Controlling the temper is tough. Even for me, it's tough sometimes. So this is what we have to remember. Romans chapter 12. Very important. Do not be overcome by the evil, but overcome evil with good. So whenever you have anger and stuff like that, that's something bad thing. Anger means, you're expressing your emotions. Something inside is not right. And you have to express that in a certain way. Your face, your facial, expression, your hand, your, stuff. That inside of you is, telling and people that it's not right inside. So it could be many, background. Some people are really angry because they have their family's problems, right? They have family issues, the dads, the mom, or whatever, they have family issues. So whenever they see, they have to express that out. Or maybe they got abused by someone. So, that always, bring out on the surface. So, yeah, you will meet a lot of people like that. And you might also have that problem, in you. Yeah, but remember this verse, Romans chapter 12. Do not overcome. If you're a believer, do not overcome by evil, but overcome evil with good. And if somebody, do something against you, and you For your side, your side is that I have to, revenge. I have to show my expression. This is what the Bible said. Beloved, never avenge yourself, but leave it to the wrath of God. For it is written, vengeance is mine, I will repay, said the Lord. So trust in God. If you have something, you have to repay other people, leave it to God. And 1 Peter 5, it said, humble yourself. Humble yourselves. That will solve a lot of problems. Humble yourself. To what? Under the mighty hand of God. So that's all I would like to read from this verse. Humble yourself. To whom? To God. And God will do his part. Right? So, that's how we control, even with your sibling, even with your friends, even your spouse. So that's, this is a long topic. I can keep going, but we don't have enough time. Question number 9. Where did God come from? Who created God? This is the problem with people. We believe that there is cause and effect, right? If this thing happened because of this, cause and effect, right? That's what we see. That's what is, it happened. That's how, it came about. You turn on the light, and the light has to be what? Turn it on. And you close, it has to be off. See, cause and effect, everywhere it is. But God doesn't operate like that, right? And if we go back to this question, the question itself doesn't even make sense. So, this the shortest way I can answer. We operate our thinking, everything. We go with cause and effect, but God doesn't work that way. He is eternal God. So, eternal God has eternal plan, and that's you have a limited ability to know that. You only know in a box. So, where did God come from? And who created God? That question doesn't, even make sense itself. So question number 10. How do we talk to atheists? And I copy it from, Greg. This is 5 points. He answered very well. When you talk to atheists, this is what you have to understand. Number 1, don't be shocked and do ask tons of questions, right? Sometimes Christians are scared to death when they see the atheist, right? So the only thing you have to understand is what? You don't, as long as, that person said, I'm an atheist, we already shut our doors. No. We started asking what? Tons of questions. About what? Find out about him and his belief. How much he know about, his belief. Just started asking questions. Where are you from? How you were raised? Maybe he might be his background might be, from a Christian family, or maybe he hate Christians because the church didn't allow them to go to school or whatever it is. Maybe because of that reason he started hating God and hating Christians, and it might be that background. So you start asking a lot of questions about him and about his belief. Don't try to argue with him. Number 2, listen deeply for the real why. And you keep asking another question. Why you believe that? Why do you not believe this? Something like that. You keep, asking, trying to find out his deepest, thoughts. You can do that. We don't have much time here. And you do that by what? Connect relationally. You relationally connect with that person. So that the Bible verse is from 2 Timothy chapter 2, 23 and 26. Don't have anything to do with foolish and stupid arguments. See, sometimes we all like to do is argue. Hey, your view is wrong, my view is right. So then argument involves. Don't do that. Stop doing that. Never argue. Because they produce what? Quarrels. You're going to fight. And the Lord's servants must not be quarrelsome, but must be kind to everyone. That's including the atheist. Able to teach, not resentful. So opponent must be gently instructed in the hope that God will grant them repentance, leading them to knowledge of the truth. So by acting like a true believer, God is going to walk on his heart, and he'll become a believer, a born-again believer. You never know. So don't give, the chance to the devil. Number 4, assume that down deep inside they do believe in God. The atheists, try to be the atheists because there are a lot of their experience, the situation, the background, just keep pressing them down. So we have to dig through that and start finding about him. And then inside, very deep inside of him, he do believe God. I didn't say that. The Bible said that, right? In Romans chapter 1, 18 and 21 said, the wrath of God is being revealed, heaven against all the godliness and wickedness of people who suppress the truth by their wickedness, since what may be known about God is plain to them. See, God, can they know God? Yes, it is very plain, because God has made it plain to them. For since the creation of the world, God's invisible qualities, his eternal power and his divine nature, have been clearly seen, being understood from what he has been made, so that people are without excuse. For although they knew God, they neither glorify him as God nor give thanks to him. So there are many reasons behind that. So you just dig out relationally, with asking questions and stuff like that, and believe that that person truly believes God. He can know God inside of him, but you have to dig deep. Number 5. And then you do what? Frame the gospel as a love story. Use the Bible as what? A love story. Don't use the Bible to beat that person, right? Try to use love. Love, and then just happen to be, that person will come to know. That's what the purpose of John 3:16 is, right? So we have to show love. You have to unfold that love story to that person. If somebody is smiling at you, how long can he, make his terrible face to you, right? Keep smiling and keep loving him, and then by doing that, that person will come to know Jesus. So that's how you deal with atheists. Don't run away. Don't hide yourself. Don't shut your door. Involve with him. Go with him. Ask questions. Daily conversation. Make friend with him. Listen to his thoughts. By doing that, you'll learn a lot. Right? Don't just want to show that I am, something. Then that'll lead to a quarrel and a fight. You don't want to do that. So try to be, wise. And our Christian, goal is to share the love of God. So unfold that love story. The love that you receive, you unfold that to that person in such a way. All right? I believe, I answer some of your questions. God bless you.